John here. Electricians need to know. I've been dealing with electrical issues for about 56 years or so, and we've found over the years a lot of wire nuts that were not put on properly. When the wires were stripped, there's a little wire, it's a number 10, I believe. When the wire is stripped, the stripper got into the metal and cut a number of strands, and then when the wire nut goes on, those strands break, and you get a lot of broken strands in your wire nut, so it doesn't last very long. A couple of years it fails. Okay, so I just wanted to go over wire nuts, the right way to do it. Now, this is what you're typically going to find: gray, blue, orange, yellow, and this is like a tan color. Now, these are reasonably new. They've only been out about 10-15 years. Then you got red and then another blue. So those are sizes. The color indicates sizes. So a typical 12, putting two 12s together, you would grab these guys, you line up the ends to make sure they're even, and then you twist it on. First of all, you would make sure that the wire is stripped properly, which goes down to the collar from the end. So that's a little overly stripped, and so is that one. So we're going to cut that back a hair. All right. You put them together with my finger, or push on them, make sure they're together. Okay. And you twist them in. Okay, these will twist in all the way down to where they start to twist on your fingers. See where they start to twist back here? And once they twist back there, then you know you've got a pretty tight wire nut. All right, we're going to take this back out, and we're going to see what happened to the wire. Okay, the wire kind of twisted together, and it's still perfect, the same length. Just because when you hold this, you hold it really tight, and you twist the heck out of it. Like that. Okay, it takes years to develop a good strong, and that's two number 12s. So that works really good for two 12s. Now, the red doesn't really work that well for two 12s. It will go on and it will tighten up and it will hold. But I've seen two 12s in a red wire nut fail a lot because it only took like a couple of little turns at the end to grab that, where this one grabs it up a lot further. Now, you can stick two 12s in a yellow and crank it down. It's harder to do. And then you get the wire sticking out the back. So you got to cut it down if you're going to stick it into a yellow wire nut. These yellow wire nuts are primarily for 14s, and see what they do, they actually have pushed one of the wires out of the way because there's not enough room in this yellow wire nut to get those two 12s in there. So it pushes it back. So that may lead to a failure. Okay, so these yellow ones are for the 14 wire. I know the wire is white, 14 is white, and 12 is yellow. So the yellow wire nut doesn't go with the yellow wire. So the yellow wire nut goes with a white wire, and it will go into a 2 14s quite well, and it will twist them up. Okay, then we can back that off and just see how well we did. Okay, the leads are pretty much even, although there's still one pushed out a little bit, just because of the tightness of the bottom end of this wire nut. But this is what it's for. The yellows wire nuts are for number 14 Romex, or number 14 wire. Okay, now you can use an orange. Now these orange wire nuts, let's trim that off a little bit. These orange wire nuts will go in, and you get maybe 3 or 4 turns on it and it locks it up. Well, that's barely holding just a little bit of the end of the 14. Just holding a little bit, where the yellow wire nut would hold a much more. And these tan ones do work quite well on 14s also. So I don't like that one. So you can tell, I can tell anyway, if the wire nut goes on, twists the right number of times, and then starts twisting the wire back here, then you know you've got a pretty good connection. So it ends up the wire is twisted, and works really well. So the tan ones, the red ones, and the orange ones, and the yellow ones are made for small wires. We use orange for like fixture wire. Now there's a fixture wire. It's put 2 of these together, give them a little twist, and you can stick it into an orange wire without any problem. And it tightens up pretty good. You can try to pull them off. You can see I twisted those up pretty good. So orange works really well for those, for fixture wire. Now these small blue ones, let's try this end. Alright, let's try those guys. You can use the small blue ones on, and that seems to work okay. So the different sizes overlap each other a little bit. So the little blue one works good as long as there's no bare wires coming out the back. You got to make sure it doesn't. Now, a lot of times you'll get one strand peeling out. So that's a conductor. So if it peels out and hits the side of a box or something, then it's going to short out. Now, these little guys, nah, I don't think so. Okay. So, let's see, if you wanted a cap like one solid strand like that so it wouldn't hurt anybody, that would work. Or if you had some smaller wire than the fixture wire, a little smaller than this, then you could use these little guys. But I use these little guys to if I have a single wire that I need to protect, I'll stick it on there like that to protect the end of the wire. So anyway, That's about all they're good for. You can put little fixture wire in there, and it works the same way as the other. These guys, I think number 8s. You put 2 number 8s together. Now you got to watch out that you didn't nick the copper when you strip them. Put the ends flush. Hold those really tight. Stick all those in there and just start spinning this thing. So, alright, so we've got 2 8s in here. You can go 2 6s actually and 3 8s in one of these blue wire nuts. But I wouldn't go any more than 2 6s and 3 8s in here. And sometimes that requires some wrench or something to get it tight to make sure that they're going to stay put. So anyway, that's most of your wire nuts. Use these on air conditioning leads, things of that nature, an 8 or 6. You use these on, you can put 2 8s in here, but it's really packing it in. You have to cut some leads off to get them in. So 10s, you can put 2 10s in here quite easily. You can put 3 or 4 12s in here, but that makes a pretty google of wires. Don't like that. These guys are for 12s. You can put 2 to 3 12s in here without any problem. These guys will handle the 14s, or you can cram the 12s in, but it only holds, it'll separate them a little bit, and it'll only hold on the ends. So I don't really trust these for 12s. Make sure that there's no wires, especially the stranded. You get a stranded like this and you stick a wire nut on, you'll have a peel out like that. Well, that's a conductor, and current is infinite. So if that hits the side of a box or a metal box, or hits you when the power's on, you'll know it. So you got to make sure you don't have any stragglers in a stranded configuration like that. So make sure that the ends are really even. Now, if the ends are even and the wire nut fits the wire, you shouldn't have any trouble. Now, I've seen countless times where we've got guys like this. They've got this one straggler out here that's sticking out. And you got the 2 others like that. Okay, so that's 3 12s with one straggler out there. So we're just going to grab it, and we're just going to twist it on like an electrician, a big fat electrician, or a big skinny electrician, or a big strong electrician. And they twist these on, and what happens is that one sticking out peels out right through the end of that thing, and you jam it into a box, and it'll hit the side of the box. Maybe it won't hit the side of the box for a week, but a week later it hits the side of a box, gets moved around a little bit, bam, you got a short. It takes out a breaker, and you got a troubleshooting job. So make sure that these are all even when you go in, and make sure you're holding tight enough that they don't slip. If the wire nut's the right size, they'll stay even and they'll crimp down to each other. So they'll all come out like those guys. They came out twisted, perfect. Okay, so that's the way to put on wire nuts. Twist them till they don't twist anymore, till you can't twist them anymore, and you develop this nice grip. And when a machinist grabs your hand and squeezes it, you can squeeze right back because you've developed this huge grip over the last 25, 50 years. So anyway, that's a plus. So subscribe to my channel, and we'll put on some more of these videos. Wire nuts. Okay, let's use them. All right. Thanks for watching.